Okay, real question. How many pleasure spots can you name before finishing your coffee?
Now, if you stopped at the clit and the G spot, bless your heart, we're about to open up a whole new map.
Today, we are exploring the G spot, the C spot, the P spot, the A spot, and the U spot, which is basically the Fab Five of freaky anatomy.
These are the places sex ed skipped, the hidden gems, the misunderstood MVPs, and the ones that will change your life if you know how to use them.
We're talking about what they are, how they work, and what people are still getting hilariously wrong.
And yes, we will answer the question on everyone's mind, why is the U spot not famous yet? Welcome to Taboo Talks, not safe for brunch, where nothing is off the table. We're diving into real conversations about sex, relationships, and self-discovery with zero shame and a whole lot of sass.
With over 55 years of combined experience in the intimacy industry and plenty of real life lessons, we are here to break taboos, bust myths, and serve up unapologetic, real world education, one brunch convo at a time.
I'm Coralie, tuning in from Vancouver. I'm a married mom with one foot in the empty nest club. My superpower is going deep down rabbit holes and getting to the real root of things.
And I'm Amber. I'm based in Ontario. I'm married. I'm a mom, a GMA, and proudly blunt. I cut through the fluff and get straight to what matters.
I'm Vicki, and I'm from Manitoba. I'm divorced, re-entering the dating scene. I'm a mom to two grown-ups, and my magic is creating real connection because intimacy starts with trust.
Grab your mimosa, your matcha, or whatever turns you on, and let's dive in.
So why are the G spot and the C spot still the most talked about? And what are people still getting wrong? The clitoris equals not just the visible part. I think that's where some of the mistakes are made. It's a full internal structure with legs, bulbs, a hood. Now, the G spot, that's a spongy area on the front wall, 2 to 3 inches inside, just like this if you're watching. And it's part of the clitoral network. They're often best used together, for sure. Internal pressure, external stimulation, that's fireworks, friends.
I mean, if you're on YouTube, Coralie just picked up her clitoris and it is lovely.
I love showing my clitoris off. Everyone wants to party with her.
Listen, I love that your clitoris has its own stand.
Yeah, it's like a trophy. She's number one.
Why some don't feel much. Pressure, arousal, trying too hard, just not the right angle. Focus on curiosity over orgasms. That's goals, man. That is goals. G-spot orgasms aren't the golden snitch. They're just one cool trick that the clitoris knows.
I think that's exactly what people get wrong is, I mean, we've talked about this before when we talked about the G-spot episode is we're like, what, why do we even call it that? It's part of the clitoris. Like it's not a separate spot. And I was so happy. I did an event a couple weeks ago. And as soon as I started talking about the G-spot, one of them was like, it is not a spot. I was like, "Oh, yes, I love you. Thank you."
We're finally getting it. I mean, it's a spot on the clitoris.
Yeah, but it's not like a
It's not
separate.
a whole separate entity.
Yeah, it's like the backside, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think even from our G-spot episode, I think one of the things that I really took away was just the fact that even G-spot orgasms can vary so much from woman to woman. I mean, I'm just saying, it's a whole new world.
Yeah. And even like individually, depending on what was going on before that happened. How aroused were you? Where are you at in your cycle? Like, because your hormones can play a difference in the intensity of your orgasm and all that stuff. So when you have a really good one, you kind of want to sit there and take notes. Like, okay, what did I eat today? What did I drink today? Where am I at in my cycle?
So why are the A spot and the U spot rarely talked about? And what makes them so darn powerful?
What are these spots? Tell us, Amber.
So the A spot is deeper than G spot, still on that front wall, but closer to the cervix. It requires consistent, deep pressure. All right. And it can trigger a long, full body orgasm. Sign me up. sometimes with less direct friction. I don't know, anybody else? Like, yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I've heard about this spot for so long, and I've explored and experimented. To me, anything in that area is painful. So, I don't know, like, I'm envious. I wanna try this, but this is a little too deep for me.
That's really interesting because I think that that heaviness that you can feel, that sounds like that's exactly where that might be coming from, that really intense, deep heaviness that sometimes can stop us from doing moving forward.
Mhm,
Well, that's just it, like, you might, feel pain, like Coralie mentioned, or it just might be, like, an odd feeling where you're like, "Ooh, that wasn't right. Let's
mhm.
move away from that," you know? Like,
Yeah.
where you're not allowing yourself to get there.
Yeah, and I know some people, we've talked before and I've spoken with clients about, that cervix hit. And there are some studies that show that sometimes people enjoy that more during certain times of the month, whereas others they don't, because like when you are going into that ovulation stage, everything kind of stretches out. So people might like that sensation more around that time of the month compared to a different time where things might be a little more closed up. So I wonder if it would make sense that that would be true with the A spot, and I know when I've been experimenting, I wasn't tracking my cycle. So, maybe I need to add that in, We gotta add
I
all
feel
the
like
science in.
we need to track all the things. It's kinda like a recipe, right? You
Yes.
make something and you just kinda throw something together, you're like, "That was so good," but then
Yeah.
you can never make it again.
Yeah. Write
Yeah.
that down.
You didn't write it
Write that
down.
down.
Everything is always like, well, that's today's science experiment, whether it's eating, sex, trying a new product on your face. It's like, well, this is today's science experiment.
Yeah, I think that the best advice there is if it feels okay, lean in because
Mhm.
it could feel
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the U spot is a small area around the urethra opening, nestled between the clitoris and the vaginal opening. It's very sensitive, responds well to oral, gentle fingering, and often the reason oral hits differently, even when you don't know why.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Any other chronic UTI sufferers just clenching a little?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, because, yeah, I think if you are exploring in that area, that's where you really want to make sure that everything's clean. Fingers, toys, everything, because that is a really sensitive spot, but sensitive in a good way too, because you have all those nerve endings there. And if you do the experiment where you take a mirror and you go in the bathroom and you look at yourself, you can actually see this spot. So I'm holding up my clitoris again, but if this was the tip that was outside, you would see this sort of like it just looks like a different material and it almost has these sort of stripes across it. And you might only notice it if you are really aroused or really towards a time of the month where everything is just kind of a little more fallen. So it's showing a little more. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Interesting to see. Everyone should take a mirror, look at your
Yeah. So
vagina.
so homework here: masturbate in front of a mirror
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
look for it.
Yeah. Look for it. Wash your hands. But that spot too is really popular to create the squirting sensation, right? Because you're all in that whole same bladder area. And again, it's not going to be straight up pee. It's like that mix, right?
It's a hybrid.
Yes,
Hybrid.
it is.
If the clitoris is the Beyonce, then the U spot is Solange. Underrated, but absolutely worth your attention.
Yes. Okay, so let's get to the P spot, which is the prostate. So, and I know the prostate stimulation, that conversation still freaks a lot of people out. And I think that's because they get so many things wrong about it. Why do you guys think people get freaked out? I think the first thing I think of is when it comes to men, automatically they think it makes them gay because the prostate is in the butthole.
Yeah,
Any other
it's like a
reason?
no-go for them, but I don't know. I just feel like it's a no-go for them, but then it's okay for them to do it to us. Like,
Right.
There's a double
why?
standard.
Yes.
There's a double standard
Yes.
for sure.
I feel
Um,
like they'd get way more pleasure because of this P spot than we ever will.
Yes. Just to go over some quick notes about the P spot, it is the prostate, which is basically the G spot equivalent for people who have penises. So it's 2 to 3 inches inside the rectum toward the belly. So if the person with the penis is standing up, you're going in and you are like pushing towards the belly, not towards the back, right? And it can result in intense, full body, and even non ejaculatory orgasms. There's a lot of myths around the P spot, around sexuality. So, this is a reminder that anatomy and where you like to be touched does not have any indication of your orientation when it comes to sexuality. So, that is the biggest hurdle, I think, for a lot of people. And that's just a mental thing because people who have emotional maturity know that just because you like something in the butt doesn't make you gay. But anyway,
Until they try it, and then they're like, "Wait a
wait,
minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
We need
So
to do something."
when I sell a P spot toy to a male, then honestly, I get feedback like almost instantly once they try it. They're like, "Oh, what have I been missing my whole life?" And even we're seeing it on YouTube in comments. I tried it, and oh my gosh! So I'm telling
Yeah,
you, if you can get
Yeah.
past the.
Mhm.
this
So,
part's brutal.
yeah, and I was having this conversation last week. I can't remember who it was with. It might even been with one of you guys. I don't think it was though, but I was talking to someone about when people have sex when they're older and how a lot of men will get erectile dysfunction and have problems, and that is when a lot of times they will start to experiment with the P spot because they can still have that orgasm and that pleasure, but they don't have to worry about the front not working. Like they can still do it, but it doesn't have a relation to the penis being erect. And then what I got from that conversation was that in the hospitals now, they are finding just more and more and more older men coming in with prostate toys because they're more willing to experiment, which is why it's so important to have the education around it to make sure that you're using a prostate toy, because sometimes they're not even prostate toys because then they wouldn't have a problem, right? They're just finding things to use as
Right.
prostate toys, I guess is what I'm meaning to say. So even though we all know the whole, oh, I fell on it, but it just becomes more prevalent, it seems, as people get older because there is a stigma around it.
Yeah, that's true. And oftentimes shame will stop people from getting help when they've used something that they weren't supposed to be using on their body, right? And then that just creates a bigger problem. So please do some research, shop our website, do the things because we absolutely can make sure that you're utilizing it in a healthy way. And yeah, once you go back,
Yeah. Well, another thing too, what I've learned, especially for the people that are in that sort of in between spot where sometimes things are working, but sometimes not. And yes, you can take the pill, but you might not want to do that all the time. So if they just use a little plug, a prostate plug, then it actually helps maintain the erection. So everything's better. So they can do it. And then they have the prostate O, maybe a regular O at the same time. But I mean, there's so much potential there. Like if I had something in my butt that made me orgasm, even after everything I've been through, which is a 6 months in an ostomy, if you need to catch up, I'd be like, we're going to find a way to stick something in there.
that's commitment.
Yeah, I'm not, but someone could do that. I would. But yeah, basically, I mean, the prostate is proof that equality does still exist in pleasure if you're brave enough to knock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take anything from this episode, you've got way more pleasure potential than you probably realized.
Whether it's deep pressure, gentle glide, or full body meltdowns from one tiny hidden spot, your body has options. Use them.
And if you're wondering which spot to explore next, the answer is yeah, just yes. Hmm.
Thanks for hanging out with us while we mapped your hot zones.
And remember, orgasms aren't a race, they're a choose your own adventure.
See you next week. And until then, give your U spot a little bit of love. She deserves it.
Thanks for pulling up a seat at the Taboo Talk Not Safe for Brunch table. If today's chat made you laugh, think, squirm, or all three, do us a solid, like, follow, and leave a review. It's basically the podcast world's version of a good tip.
Want more juicy, unfiltered conversations? Tap the link in the show notes and sign up for our weekly newsletter, your VIP pass to what didn't make it on the air.
Brunch isn't just about the bites and bubbles. It's about showing up real, raw, and ready to talk about what really matters. So until next time, keep it bold, keep it curious, and definitely keep it not safe for brunch.